Hello, hopefully you can hear my mic. I don't know who's viewing right now. Hopefully you can hear my mic. Hi. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, I'm gonna reduce that volume so that way you can hear myself think. How are you guys doing? I am extremely tired. Because holy shit. Oh, ad break. Yeah, a minute and 20 seconds. I'm sorry, guys. If you guys just want to tune in later, I don't mind it. But, yeah. Hopefully you guys are doing well. I'm doing well. What was it? Oh yeah. Guess I had to carry like 15 turbos in one store. This bitch. Pre-chat is open. I'm going to be in my PC. Whoever's in my server is yeah. I am at general chat. So feel free to come in here. Just gonna look at some videos because I'm really tired. And then we're gonna play something that I installed on my computer. Metal Gear. Yeah, I'm gonna play some Metal Gear. We don't want too intense of a game to play to not stimulate my senses too much. And yeah, I'm gonna go relax a little bit. So let's watch some stuff. Why am I so huge? Actually, I don't mind that.
Everyone loves a good project car, but some people take it to a whole other level. These are the coolest project cars I've seen this week. First, and quite possibly the most absurd Ford GT in the world, built by Andreas Fuchs, he started with a chassis from an old Ford GT race car. He built a custom carbon fiber body, which is pretty obvious, built custom active aero, and powered it with a twin-turbo V8 illuminator. Not sure on the power numbers, but it rips.
It's about a 700 horsepower range.
Next, this custom Porsche. It's actually a 350Z, which the owner calls the 935Z or the poor man's Porsche. With the front of the car taking inspiration from the slant-nosed 935, hence the name, and the rear taking inspiration from the current generation 992 911. And his design was actually featured in GTA 5, which is pretty cool. Next, this ridiculously clean custom Mercedes-Benz Pagoda by S-Club, taking the body from a 1966 230 SL and putting it on the chassis of a 2009 SLK 55 AMG, along with an insane amount of custom work, which when looking from head to toe, the attention to detail on this build is pretty immaculate. Next, and this thing is just getting started, but the soon-to-be Viper Swap Datsun by Brad Builds. And I can't wait to see the final result of this. This thing's gonna be pretty sick. Lastly, this Mercedes-Benz C43 DTM build by Cascade Garage, where they took a C43 AMG and built a custom full carbon fiber DTM style body kit, which I think DTM cars were some of the best looking of all time, so I love this build. Part 8 comes next week. Everyone loves a good project.
Shut up! Shut the... That's it! When you get the piss out of this dog, bro!
You summoned the Hellhound. And the dog is in the Hellhound. And now the neighbor has no dog because of the Hellhound. Give her a treat.
If I just...
How many characters know old
Car badges used to make sense and give you information, while nowadays they don't. Take the Porsche Taycan in the Turbo or the Turbo S trim with a small slight issue. The car is electric, goddammit. That's like ab badging from factory. Why would you do this? And now every single Audi. I mean, do you remember when you had an emblem like Audi A8 and then 6.0 next to it, so you instantly knew the car had a 6-liter petrol engine? No, that was not it. New Audis have numbers. The higher the number, the more horsepower it has, with 25 being up to 107 horsepower and 55 up to 370. I mean, were they drunk making this? And don't even get me started with Mercedes, because back in the day, AMG cars used to have badges that represent the engine's capacity. 55 was 5.5, 32 was 3.2, while nowadays in a 43 AMG you get a 3 liter and in a 63 AMG you get a 4 liter, because that just makes sense, doesn't it? Car badges used to make sense and give you information, while now
If you dropped an ant on
Who needs to hear this? But in traffic, that little space right there, that's why I don't run into the back of somebody.
This need to be on a billboard in Texas because this got to be.
Hey man, I just came up with the next big trend in PC setups. Please don't tell me it's gonna be a wall mount, please. No, that's so last year. My new idea is gonna rock your little jimmies, my friend. Hey, easy with the Jimmy talk or I'll rock you, dude. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and ignore that and tell you my revolutionary PC design idea anyway. Okay, hit me with it. It's not a shelf, thank God, or a wall mount or RGB lights. Dude, just get to the point. Imagine if the desk was the PC. That isn't even your idea, dude. And all-in-one desk PCs are lame. Okay, but check this one out. It folds up and you can carry it around. Well, that's just a TSA violation waiting to happen. Hey man, I just came up with the next
You know weird that I already came out with that? I think it was a mini ITX board inside like one of those pillow tables. That you could have a pseudo laptop
Yo,
in it.
this cave is crazy deep. Yo, let's check it out. Oh. Yo, I genuinely can't find an end city anywhere, bro. Like, come on. Oh, there's a little ledge here. Oh dear. Yo, dude, I can't find anything down here. Oh, okay. Yo, this cave is...
People have been trying to make a melee bow for a long time.
It would be great to have a bow that you could shoot from afar, and if somebody got close, you'd be able to stab or cut or do whatever against them. But there's a couple of problems.
A bow is under a lot of tension, and that means any sudden shot can cause the bow to fail.
Also, the bow has to be flexible, otherwise it wouldn't be able to, well, bow.
But I've solved this problem once and for all.
You've solved it.
Yes. Does this shape look familiar?
That's the Star Trek batleth.
Behold the bow left. String the edges.
Clark, there's no way you could put a string on that and have it bend in order for you to actually shoot it.
It's made of spring steel.
That's not the same. Clark, just because the word is the same doesn't...
The bow left. I've solved it.
Follow for more Still Sword parts.
People have been trying to make a melee...
Sell sort of parts. Hi, Warcraft Taker. How are you?
here are cars and features that were banned. For example, in Australia, line lock, basically a built-in burnout mode, is completely disabled on the Ford Mustang because authorities believed controlled burnouts are too dangerous for public roads. And next up we have the Chevrolet Super Sport, or SS for short, that got a complete import ban in Israel. And we cannot really be surprised here, as SS was the abbreviation given to a Nazi unit responsible for killing millions of Jews. And now it's going to get weird because Turkmenistan banned all black cars from the capital city and even started impounding existing black cars if they didn't agree to repaint them. And it's not because they're racist, but rather because of some silly superstitious bullshit that considers whiter colors as lucky. Here are cars and features.
Hey man.
Alright, I forgot. I'm doing well. I forgot that I have to play my Zenless today. Let's play some Zenless a little bit. Supposed to play some Zenless today. I forgot that I totally need to play my Zenless because I recharged my batteries And I'm currently raising Alice. So yeah. Hmm. And final hits. Not sure. Why do you still have a full shelf? Ha! That's a lot! Goddamn! We're still not out of this, but we need to have a new manager. We'll go for the overtime! Alright. Performance. Caesar! Russell. Go. Sometime. Okay, even skill. Data beat us. Took a while though.
How about this?
underestimate me.
Want some more? I'll make it painless. Watch your blind spots.
That was a terrible time, dude. Come on.
Sure.
Out of my way!
Oops, sorry. I'll make it painless.
I'll take
All right.
Need a fortune telling?
Don't frighten me like that!
We don't have the equipment for her yet because we don't really want to farm for her equipment just yet. So let's see here. What's the recommended equipment discussion? Slot B first, and then secondary abilities C. But it's her standard. Okay. Okay, good.
Don't frighten me like that!
Now for the F2. 16 plus the weekend. How much photons do I have? 241? Although I do want to reset that. Give me a good reset at least. Okay, good. -2. That's 16. We have about 3 days to wait for that. Let's see where. We have about 9 hours, so this thing's gonna refresh in like a day.
Need a fortune telling?
Don't really have anything much to do after that. There were like character hangouts, and that's about it. Yep. So we're gonna close that because we're already done with that. Now, although I do wish my Alice is a lot more geared up, I guess, because I do want this character to be really good. Not gonna lie. All right, so we're done with that. My Facebook, not Facebook, but my Twitter. I did have a Facebook, but I'm not telling you my Facebook because y'all don't deserve my Facebook. Also, speaking of Facebook, I got a couple of my friends apparently like fighting right now, and this is not necessarily like VTuber drama, more like cosplayers that have been knowing each other for 10 years kind of drama, and I kind of figured. What the?
After 7 years of abuse, this legendary Cooler Master Trooper is now a Cooler Master Pooper. It's been neglected, infected, and disrespected. But even worse, it's trying to commit Sudoku. And it's up to Dr. Andy to fix its issues while its owner fixes my marriage. But unlike my wife's boyfriend, I don't even have to turn this on to get the job done, because I know exactly what the problem is. A bent USB pin causing a short. So utilizing my tiny raccoon-like fingers and the same tool that helps you urinate, I unbend it before being the second back getting blown out in the office. But is it fixed?
Fuck. The greatest technician that's ever lived.
Of course it is. And those are some juicy specs for a case that's worn through more rubber than its owner. But I can't let this leave my shop with 7 years
4090,
worth of
goddamn.
bodily fluids caked on it. So with the help of your sister's toothbrush and my trusty Gooch Buster, I crop dust my new neighbors with STDs that are yet to be classified, before plugging in this completely normal fan connector and making sure it still spins. Whew. That was close. Well, now that both our jobs are finished, time for our friend to drive this trooper to his next rendezvous. After 7 years of abuse, this legend...
I'm sitting there trying to figure out who in the kitchen cooking a skillet. Then I peeped the caption. I'm like, oh, so maybe they flipped it, you know, it stuck to the ceiling or something. Wasn't expecting that, but they lifted it up. That ain't no pancake, that's a Pan-African. I'm sitting there trying to figure out.
That's a toasty motherfucker. Goddamn.
Diary.
Yo, bro, can we get an update? Absolutely. So if you haven't heard, yesterday I found out that somebody has been re-uploading my videos and monetizing off of it, which sucks. But I just finished up sending a DMCA takedown request on the majority of their videos. That's where we are right now. They're getting everything taken down and probably getting terminated. Yo, bro, can we get an update? Absolutely. So
Why would you jump headfirst to lava? Is beyond me. Megalophobia in Minecraft, you mean just giant builds? Hmm. The squid. That was a
Looking
wild
around
intro,
YouTube
though.
today, you'd think that the practice of drifting is as old as racing cars itself. But the sport of delicate balance and complete anarchy, of smoke, shredded tires, and dented fenders, hasn't always been around. It's relatively new, in fact. Drifting is dancing with horsepower, battling with fenders, and singing with exhaust notes and tire smoke. It's driving, but a little bit over dramatic. You know, sort of like this channel. Despite the art of oversteer invading everything from Pixar to PlayStation, its roots are humble and centered around one man. A man who rose from rebellious teenager street racing in the quiet hours of Japan's winding Toge to a world-class driver standing atop podiums around the world.
Keiichi Tsuchiya.
Someone who changed the world by turning his wheels in the other direction, took risks others weren't willing to take, and left a legacy that will last for generations to come. This is the story of Keiichi Tsuchiya, the Drift King. The story of Keiichi Tsuchiya begins in 1956, in the small village of Tomi. There, Tsuchiya-sama was born. Rumors have it that he came out of the womb sideways. The town of Tomi was long known for its hot springs, its beautiful landscapes, but most importantly, its proximity to winding roads known as Toge. In the late 1960s, you might find Datsun 510s and Honda S600s attacking the nearby curves of Usui Pass late at night, a 7.5-mile narrow mountain road over bridges, hairpins, and sheer cliff edges. Late at night, populated by drivers clamoring to be the fastest on its many winding passes. Their name was Hashiriya, motoring enthusiasts that emerged in the 60s and 70s of Japan, taking their love of driving to the streets, hills, and raceways of Japan's diverse blacktops. Young Keiichi would sit awake at night, listening to the roar of engines echoing through the hills as they battled at night. So inspired was Keiichi that one day he kickstarted his gas-powered bicycle and rode it 120 miles to Fuji Speedway, just to see racing up close and in person. On that day, Tsuchiya-sama would witness a driver pushing themselves and their car to the limit, and be inspired to spend his lifetime doing the same. There, at the helm of a Hakusuka GTR, Kunimitsu Takahashi was overtaking his opponents by sliding his car through the corners.
Hmm. これからもお二人のファミリーカーとして長くご愛用ください。スカイラインのあるところ、ここにも幸せが。
Today, Keiichi Tsuchiya is well known for bringing the sport of sliding cars to the masses. But Kunimitsu Takahashi, otherwise known as Kuni-san, was truly the father of drifting. A man whose motorsports career is as impressive in its wins as it is in its diversity. Kuni-san started out as a motorcycle racer in the late 1950s, rising through the ranks to earn a spot on the Honda Speed Club factory team, where he rode his 250cc Honda over the finish line to become the first Japanese rider to win the West German Motorcycle Grand Prix in 1961. A year later, he would attempt the absurdly dangerous Isle of Man TT, a blisteringly fast motorcycle time trial run on public streets that has claimed the lives of over 150 riders. There, somewhere amongst the 219 turns around the town of Douglas, Kuni-san loses control of his Honda 250, and the ensuing accident nearly takes his life. While recovering from his heavy injuries, Kunimitsu is forced to reconsider whether racing on two wheels is even worth it anymore. Luckily, at the time, Nissan had learned of his dominating performance on motorcycles and offered him a spot on their factory team in 1965. And with that, the leather jacket of rider Kunimitsu was hung on the wall for the rest of time. As a driver for Nissan, he set many lap records in their prototype race cars, such as the R380, the R381, and the R382. But it would be his outings in the Hakusuka GTR that would not only earn him trophies, but the love of an entire nation of motoring fans. In the early 70s, Kuni-san found himself in the cockpit of the Nissan Skyline 2000 GTR. With the spirit of competition burning in his heart, he came to win. But his tires were absolute garbage. And he wasn't alone. Everyone's rubber struggled to keep grip. You see, tire technology in 1970 was way behind the power and dynamics of the racing cars they were fitted to. So you couldn't really rely on them to maintain grip as you attacked a turn, or stay in control as you accelerate out of an apex. What this meant was that most drivers would go very slow in and timidly accelerate out of a corner to maintain traction. Kuni-san, whose bravery had been forged by years of two-wheeled death traps, had a different approach. Instead of meekly feathering the throttle and abiding by the limits of his tires, he would just press the accelerator firmly, aim at the corner exit, initiate a four-wheel slide, and just wait for his tires to give him the traction he needed to accelerate out. The result was essentially drifting. A sports car sliding through a turn, tires billowing smoke, and unexpecting Japanese motoring fans screaming with acclaim. Kuni-san's motoring exploits would go on for decades. But that might just be a story for another time. Because there in the 1970s, among the onlookers watching with eyes wide open and jaws agape, was a young Keiichi Tsuchiya, who would forever be inspired by Kuni-san's outlandish driving style, and who would quickly start saving for a car of his own, so that he too could slide his car through corners, not on a racetrack, but on the dangerous mountain passes of Japan.
Ken Mary. The Adventures of Ken and Mary.
Following the absolutely massive success of the Hakusuka GTR, Nissan released its KPGC 110 GTR, aka the Ken Mary. It is one of the greatest and rarest cars Japan has ever created. And somehow, according to Tsuchiya, it was his first car. Look, I know, everyone everywhere quotes Tsuchiya-sama as starting from some humble beginnings, but driving one of the 197 Ken Mary GTRs as his first car triggers the sus in me a little bit. Other accounts say that his first car was the Nissan Sunny B110. Either way, whatever car Tsuchiya did start in, he didn't dive headfirst into racing. In fact, at first, he refused to compete with others. After seeing how treacherous and tight the Yusui Pass was, he opted instead to drive out to remote farmland and practice his driving technique on the weekends. For 4 whole years. 4 years of constant practice. Braking, heel towing, and countersteering until he had a connection with the car that was absolute. After spending what is honestly an absurd amount of time practicing, Tsuchiya finally felt it was time to take on the Yusui Hashiriya. Keiichi made short work of the mountain racers. They never really stood a chance. When you practice for 4 years at something, forging your skills with fervent dedication, little can stand in your way. Keiichi was quickly deemed king of the mountain, and rivals would travel from all over the region to challenge him, only to see his taillights disappearing around the corner ahead of them, never to see them again. He was adored by other Hashiriya for his flamboyant racing style, passing his opponents in curves while sliding sideways. Word of Tsuchiya-sama's abilities soon traveled down the mountains to the world of professional Japanese racing. And in 1977, Keiichi would begin his life's work as a professional racing driver. But the soul of illegal mountain racing would never leave him.
As you already know, this is the man responsible for bringing the drift sensation from the other side of the Pacific to our shores here in the United States. He's a D1 Grand Prix judge, the Drift King himself, Keiichi Tsuchiya.
Tsuchiya knew the road ahead of him was long and difficult. Just like his successes as an outlaw mountain racer, his career as a pro driver would take a lot of time and dedicated practice. His humble racing debut began in the Fuji Freshman Racing Series, which is sort of a college sports version of touring car racing. You get to act like the professionals, but you're gonna pay for everything yourself. There he would pilot Toyota Starlets and Nissan Sunnies, economical, fun little cars with less than 100 horsepower. Keiichi's dedication to mastering driving skill and not relying on horsepower meant that he quickly racked up wins and garnered the support of sponsors. And even though he was winning, he felt like he was being held back by these low horsepower rookie racing classes. So he went to his sponsors and asked for money to buy a new, faster car. They said, sure, win the entire championship and we'll give you a new car. So he did. And in 1984, he stepped out of the world of underpowered, unassuming racing cars and into the driver's seat of an all-new, underpowered, unassuming racing car. But this would be a seat he would never leave for the rest of his life.
Hey, what's that, a Toyota?
The 1985 Toyota Corolla GTS. A Toyota, dependable. A Corolla, affordable. And yet a different kind of Corolla. A sleeper. A car for the street that's powered by a new twin-cam, fuel-injected.
What's he got in there?
16-valve engine.
What's he got in there?
Known as the TC16.
Hey, yeah, what's he got in there?
The 1980s were, well, for lack of a better term, weird. And the world of 80s Japanese cars was no different. Car companies of the time were abandoning complex rear-wheel drive platforms for simpler, more fuel-efficient front-wheel drive cars. Mitsubishi Mirage, Honda Civics, Toyota Tercels, all a dismal sign of the slow and depressing death of the sports car. But there among them was one last freedom fighter, a sports car for the masses, well, before the Miata came along, the AE86 Corolla. For this generation, Toyota went insane. Instead of just one new Corolla, they split the lineup in half. One was just another front-wheel drive economy car, but parked next to it at a dealership would be a near mirror image. But this time, with a rear-wheel drive platform, sportier suspension, and a free-revving, fun-loving 1.6-liter engine, the Hachiroku, a plucky economy car with the heart of a champion. For our hero Keiichi, it was love at first sight. His racing prowess was forged on tight mountain roads. Tsuchiya-sama never cared for high horsepower, turbos, or gimmicks. To win, he believed you needed a vehicle you could trust. One that did what it was told and communicated back to the driver with solid inputs and delicate handling. Tsuchiya's competition AE86 went by many names. Carrot Flashpoint, Karada, whatever you called it, you saw it cross the finish line first. Though underpowered and unassuming, Keiichi and his Carrot A86 dominated the Fuji Freshman Series for 6 championships, leaving more powerful and advanced cars in its dust. So what do you do when you're dominating the competition and no one can beat you? You have a little fun with it. Like his hero Kuni-san, Keiichi kept himself entertained on course by sliding through corners, passing his opponents while graciously countersteering. It was probably really fun to watch, but must have driven the other competitors nuts. Tsuchiya-sama's performance in the Advan 86 was so dominant, the Nismo team had him investigated for cheating. I mean, how else can you explain that this puny little hatchback was sliding around corners and still passing its competitors? He of course wasn't cheating, he was just kind of a jerk. But the fans loved it. Tsuchiya was winning so easily that he found it boring, so his antics got bigger and bolder, exaggerating his drifting, pushing the track limits, driving fans wild and pissing off the officials. Eventually, the officials had had enough of it and threatened to suspend his license. His on-track exploits led him to earn the title of Dorkin, or Drift King. The reputation and controversy around the Drift King inspired Option Magazine to reach out to Tsuchiya. They thought, what if we were able to show everyone the wild driving style of the Drift King? So they set about following Tsuchiya-sama for weeks, riding along with him and filming him attacking Yusui Pass in his personal AE-86. What they released is a time capsule, roughly 20 minutes of oddly edited but superbly shot drifting masterclass. Raw sound, pure driving, and few cuts. It was called Pluspy, and it may seem almost timid now, but when it was created, nothing like it had ever been released. The reason nothing like it had ever been released was, well, in Japanese culture, filming yourself committing crimes is not as popular as it is here in America. As Pluspy started making waves in the automotive scene, authorities took notice and immediately demanded the VHS tapes be removed from store shelves. Now, of course, censorship rarely works. The controversy just made Pluspy even more desirable, its content more taboo and thus exciting to watch. And with that, drifting had hit the main stage. In 1986, Carboy magazine held what is believed to be the first drifting competition. And hot off the viral hit of Pluspy, Keiichi and Daijiro of Option magazine started their own drifting events in 1989.
God, I remember Dai Yoshihara. Hang on a second. Let me just get my water bottle. Hang on a second. Let me get my water bottle. Alright, it's just dead thirsty and the water bottle's on the other side of the bed. Anyway, let's continue the video. Yep.
They were known as Ikaten. Keiichi and Daijiro never took anything seriously. The Ikaten were meetups of poor car enthusiasts let loose on racing tracks of Japan throughout the 90s. They had no real judging or points, and accomplishments earned drivers the title of various sea creatures. With ranks like jellyfish and squid, the series got sillier as time went on, eventually even inspiring Keiichi to adopt a cute octopus as his mascot for his parts company, K-Office. Keiichi would go on to become the judge of nearly every important drifting competition in Japan, including D1GP when it launched in the year 2000. Tsuchiya-sama would host best motoring vids, appear all over in popular culture, he created the Drift Bible, and was the supervisor and allegedly inspiration for the anime Initial D. Keiichi himself had essentially kick-started the drifting revolution in Japan and subsequently the world. But if you asked him, he never meant to. He just drifted because it was faster and because it was more fun. So while he rose to fame as the counter-steering Dorikin, his heart always beat for the spirit of real competition, door-to-door racing, and it would be a heartbeat heard round the world.
When I was racing, everybody knew that I would win. So to stop people being bored and fed up with the same old thing, I started drifting the car through the corners, much more than the other drivers, to keep people interested, but it improved the popularity of the sport.
Even as Keiichi became a television popularity, a judge for a new form of automotive competition, Tsuchiya never left the driver's seat. He continued to compete and win throughout the 80s, until it culminated with what must be a cornerstone moment for Tsuchiya-sama's life. He was invited to be Kunimitsu Takashi's co-pilot in his Group A Skyline GTR. Yes, the man who had inspired Keiichi so many years before to oversteer his way to the top was now going to be sharing his cockpit. Tsuchiya would commit himself fully to taking that team to the podium, eventually earning the duo a third-place podium in Group A. The successes of the Kunimitsu racing team caught the attention of Honda, who were fielding their new NSX GT2 in Le Mans. The GT2 was a monster. It was an NSX-R that had been completely un-Honda'd. 400 horsepower, wide-bodied in carbon fiber and aluminum, and revised and revamped from head to toe. In that year's Le Mans, Team Kunimitsu would start from the pit lane, but 24 hours later, 2 laps ahead of the Callaway Corvettes, Tsuchiya and Kunimitsu would take home a class win. After that, there were wins in Porsche 911s, failures in Dodge Vipers, hell, Tsuchiya even drove a few NASCAR events. His notoriety garnered the attention of team owners. They wanted Tsuchiya-san in their cars. And it would all culminate in what Tsuchiya himself calls his greatest achievement. In 1999, a team of 3 Toyota GT1s would enter Le Mans. Alongside Tsuchiya was Toshio Suzuki and Ukio Katayama. Their pace from the outset was conservative. This was an endurance race after all. And the strategy worked. As laps went on, their faster competitors dropped out of the race. One even decided to fly out of the race. Then, near the end of the 24 hours, the Toyota GT1 was battling Team BMW for the top spot. Unfortunately, in those final hours, the GT1 suffered a tire puncture and would only take home second place. But second place in the world's most difficult and prestigious race is not a bad high watermark. In the following years, Tsuchiya would continue to race Supras and NSXs in the All Japan GT Championship. And then, after decades spent sliding through corner after corner, Tsuchiya-sama would hang up his jade green racing suit for good in 2003. A legacy of smiles, oversteer, and checkered flags behind him. Today, Keiichi Tsuchiya's life might be a bit slower paced than the days of Le Mans victories and Ikaten tire shredding, but his heart beats just the same. From the moment he looked over that fence at Fuji Speedway to see Kuni-san driving with flair, to standing atop a podium in a country thousands of miles away, Tsuchiya-sama has never lost his spirit. Hell, parked in his garage is his own personal AE86, a masterpiece of underdog engineering, and a shining reminder of what Keiichi himself means to the world. A quiet, humble, smiling champion. Never quite so serious in character, but always a fervent and dedicated competitor. If you were lucky enough to meet Keiichi in person, you'd forget that he had led such a storied life, one of championships and being an icon for an entire motorsports movement. Tsuchiya's story is that of a foundation of an entire sport, an inspiration of a generation, and the competitive spirit of an entire nation. If you asked him, he would tell you that he's just another Japanese racing driver. But to those that have felt his influence throughout time, myself included, he is truly so much more than that. He is the Drift King.
I know, I'm doing okay. Oh wait, shoot. I didn't realize that the message was deleted already. I am tired. You can tell that I'm really tired. I am so tired. Racing's most bizarre accident. I already know what happened. I already know what happened with that bizarre accident. What was it? Do not design a car that has... Oh yeah, no, I was about to fall asleep. I was gonna say, do not design a car that has a really long overhang, because if it does have a long overhang, then you're just gonna figure out, why is my car at least 50 feet in the air, and why am I upside down? Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. Anyway. I was gonna say I was gonna promise you if I could play Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, but I'm gonna go boot that up later off stream because I feel like an absolute shit right now. I'm going to boot up Forza instead because I feel like playing Forza. And it's a new week anyways. I'm barely hurting my neck. Okay, what do we got on the Thursday day? What do we got on the Thursday day? A whole lot of nothing. That's what it is. We got a whole lot of nothing. I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. I know you were right. Believed in for so long. I'm all out of love. What am I without you? What was it? Air supply. Oh my lord. Why am I being the head patted? Why am I being the head patted? Don't head pat me. I bite. They actually bite. Okay, what do we got? GR86. And classic sports cars, probably B class. Yeah. B class or classics. That's fine. A B class or classics. Modern sports cars, probably A class. Yeah, A class modern sports cars. And then we got unlimited off-road. Yeah, limited off-road A class. That's fine. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and grab this, because that's the only one I'm interested in. And then...
Welcome back, Sadie.
Let's go to... My Horizon. Get 1,000 credits. Go fuck yourself. Okay. And then backstage voting. We are going to vote for the Ferrari. And then who won? Bruh, why did this win? I wanted the Mustang, dude. Fuck. Alright, never mind. I'm upset now. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and filter out the rare classics. So, where we got? Where are we? Rare classics. Honestly, I'm gonna improve on this one. We also got these. Obviously, we got the Miura. We also got the 2000 GT. I think it's B class, right? It's B class? Yeah, we got a B class 2000 GT though. And you know what? Let's go with the 2000 GT. But except instead of this one, we're gonna put in a brand new one. Brand new 2000 GT. Start off, because we're not gonna really go for a power tune on this one, we are going to go for a light tune. We just need to make sure a couple of things are established in this thing. One, tire treads needs to be a little wider. And just a little wider in the back. That could be a little wider too. Next up, tire material. We're gonna go upgrade this to street tire compounds. Yeah, street tire compounds, great. maybe toss in there a good set of rims too. Just nothing too modern, I would say. Or nothing too invasive like this one, this road car. Throw it front side. Why are momos so heavy? Dude. That works. Maybe up this up a little bit, probably 17 inches each. Next up, gear and drivetrain. Probably gonna shoot this up to race transmission, race driveline, race diff. Brakes, we could probably ignore it a little bit, but we do need to stop. Let's car stop. We could deal with 5 points, right? Rally suspension for travel. Anti-roll bars. Probably a little reinforcement in there, but make sure to lighten the car like hell. Alright, next up, the engine itself. Internals. Oh, we're a little over. We're gonna shoot ourselves with this one, but we're gonna reduce the carburetor. Increase the front rim width, increase the rear rim width, and then make the rim a lot heavier. Well, that's it. Fuck with us so much. $98. Make this a lot more bare bones than usual. 700. There you go. 251 horsepower, 1.4 lateral Gs, 288 pounds. I think we're good. I think we're good with something on this one. I believe I also have a nice reference for like color options on this thing because someone out there on Twitter has been publishing Pantone colors for a specific Porsche, well, not specific Porsche, but just Porsche in general. Ooh, that's a really good 0 to 60. 5.3 seconds. It's actually not bad. Going on hot. Wait, hold on. What? Damn. Talk about woo! This engine has some pep on it. Alright, but we're gonna reduce the amount. We're actually gonna rev this engine pretty darn high. Lower the suspension ratings, increase the suspension stiffness. Fix the damping issues. Fix that issue. 0.95 lateral G's though. That's actually pretty insane for V5. Like I said, there's like a several Pantone designs that I got. Hold on. Hmm. There you go. Pantone color cards. I'm gonna make this car a nice yellow. Yeah. The color of Ukraine, they said. Oh. Installing it. Okay. Dip that. We got 49, 99, 100. $49 divided by 360. For about we're looking at 14. So 14.99. It's a nice shade of yellow. They're pretty plain but nice shade of yellow. A little glossy though, a little bit my color pair, but yeah, I like that yellow. I do not mind that yellow. I do like to drive this thing. I don't care if my opponents are going to be faster than me. I will enjoy driving this thing. So far so that I will enjoy driving this thing while I am having a non-issue. So let's go ahead and go to campaign, go to special playlist, and queue ourselves. Hold on. Really, or am I getting... No, everything's off. Weird. Here's my little buddy here. Hmm. Yeesh. These guys in Porsche don't really know how to drive, don't they? Yeesh. I'll take second. Or I'll take third, rather. The next course is a circuit, that would be nice. I don't know Riviera Spurt that well anyway. Bola Ocho. Alright. That works. Okay, what was that? That was bizarre. Anyway. Ow. Yeesh. I'm not kind of too fond on the fact that my screen is lagging a little bit, but I might need to see if my graphics card needs to update. Because my thing is lagging like crazy, and it's not doing too cash money. That I have like a serious frame cut. So we're gonna close this game. Because holy shit, we're having really bad lag. Let me see our NVIDIA issue. Because we might need to restart the stream anyway, because, you know, graphics card update. Oh, fuck. We do have a graphics card update, chat. Holy hell. That is bad. Yeah, no worries. Stuff happens. It's not like it's a bad thing. See what we got. Besides, it takes me some time to take a nice piss anyway. So this is installing. Close that. We got a new driver. Download. Okay, guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to disable stream or end the stream for like a little bit. I'm gonna be back in like 5